Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I will be doing my updated 2022 gubernatorial prediction. So it has been a while since I have last done this video, so I guess it is time for a new version since my prediction has definitely changed since the last time. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. So I think the 2022 midterms will be especially interesting to watch, just judging on how the national environment will be. I've seen a lot of credible arguments for an R+3 environment, and it could be a little less than that, maybe favoring Democrats at some point. But anyway, going in with the mindset that Joe Biden has been losing popularity recently, and unless his plans that he's recently signed into action will boost his approval rating, it looks like the Dems could actually really lose some seats in this election. But without further ado, let's get started. So let's go to Democratic safe states. California will be safe, along with Hawaii, Illinois, Colorado, New Jersey, Maryland. So Maryland, a lot of people have been putting it as possibly lean or likely, but since all of the officials related to the Larry Hogan administration have declined to run, it looks like it'll just be another election as usual in Maryland. So I think that'll be safe Democratic. Rhode Island will be safe, New York, and that will be all. For the Republicans, Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and Vermont, provided Phil Scott runs again, and Massachusetts, provided Charlie Baker runs again. So the popular governor of Massachusetts, Charlie Baker, looks like he could definitely run again. It's not set in stone, though. So for now, I'm going to assume that he runs and put it as safe R, but it would be different if he did not run. Anyway, that will be all of the safe states for the Republicans and Democrats. Now going to Democratic likely states. Oregon will be likely, New Mexico, Minnesota, Virginia. I think it's going to be maybe around 10% best case scenario for Terry McAuliffe. If it is going to be lower, probably around 5%, but pretty much anywhere in that range. Connecticut would be likely, Maine, and that will be all. So the reasons for some of these calls, I think Oregon will be likely just because Kate Brown is very unpopular, and pretty much the top Democratic candidate right now is Ted Wheeler, and I don't know if he'll actually get the nomination, but for those who do not know, he is the mayor of Portland and is really unpopular. So even if he is the nominee, I think 5% for the Democrats, but if it's someone else, probably around 10% to even 12%. It could go into the safe range. But that's it for the likely states for Democrats. For Republicans, Kansas, which I made a whole video about, so go check that out. Alaska, South Carolina, since Joe Cunningham is a very good candidate. He's the former representative of a very suburban district, and he could definitely get the suburbs to turn out for him. And Henry McMaster, the incumbent governor of South Carolina, does not have a lot of suburban support. So Joe Cunningham's best performance, I think, might be around 8 or 9% in the single digits. That would be very good for him, but maybe around 10 or 11% more realistically. Iowa and Ohio both be likely for Republicans. I think Florida will be likely since Ron DeSantis is very popular. I think maybe anywhere from 4 to 6%, potentially higher. But I think that right now I'm pegging it at around 5%, which is likely. So now we have the likely states filled out, and we go into the lean and tilt states. And the current total now is Democrats 19, Republicans 23. So I'll start out with the Democratic lean states, the ones that are going to be lean under 5% but above 1.5%. So New Hampshire. And the reason why I'm putting New Hampshire as lean, despite the fact that Chris Sununu, even if he runs for Senate, will be on the ballot, which could definitely help Republicans, and it could be a more favorable national environment. New Hampshire is a pretty interesting state in the fact that it's pretty much a Democratic-leaning swing state, and the Democrats have a decent candidate to run in this election, who is Joyce Craig, the mayor of one of the biggest cities in New Hampshire. And the top two Republican candidates, if Chris Sununu does not run, are Kelly Ayotte, who has lost in the state previously and has aligned herself with Donald Trump, who is not popular there, and Corey Lewandowski, another very pro-Trump Republican. So both those candidates would likely lose, in my opinion. And then another lean state would be Nevada. Steve Sisolak has been losing popularity, but I think in the end he'll pull out around a 2%, maybe a little under, win over the Republican candidate. And that'll be it for the Democratic lean states. For Republicans, I think Texas will be lean. I had it as likely before, I believe, or I was considering it at least. But Greg Abbott is a very interesting politician. Basically, in 2018, he won in a landslide because he had insane suburban support, but now he's been shifting more to the right and a lot of crises have hit Texas recently. And since the suburbs in Texas are shifting to the left, then that could very much hurt Greg Abbott, especially against someone like Beto O'Rourke or Julian Castro. But Abbott also doesn't have the same Hispanic support that Donald Trump does. So even if he did get some of that by default, probably being endorsed by Trump, he's still a little bit more vulnerable than you might think. So I think that it's going to be around 4%, maybe 5%, just depending on the national environment, which could carry him over the line for likely. Anyway, that will be all of the lean states for both parties. Now we go into some of the tilt states. I'm just going to go from east to west just to make it interesting. So Pennsylvania is the first state. So recently I've actually learned a little bit more about Pennsylvania, and I think it's actually going to be closer than I previously thought. Democrats have a very good candidate in Josh Shapiro, who actually outperformed Joe Biden in 2020 when he ran for re-election as Attorney General. He has very strong suburban support that could definitely carry him over the top, and I think it will. That's why I'm putting it as tilt Democratic. But he also might have a few formidable opponents. So first is Lou Barletta, who actually ran for Senate in 2018 and lost by a pretty large margin against the popular Bob Casey, who has been a senator from Pennsylvania for a while. But I think that Barletta will lose since he doesn't actually have a ton of strong rural support and really doesn't have a big base. So I think he'll lose. There's also Doug Mastriano, another politician in the state, who actually could do very well. He has better suburban appeal, and he definitely gets the rural turnout needed to win. But in the end, I think Shapiro's going to narrowly overcome him. And then we go to Michigan. So Michigan I put as lean Democratic, I believe, in my last prediction. But now I'm going to change that. So currently the GOP frontrunner is James Craig, the Detroit police chief. And I think currently his baseline, just where he'll essentially be building off his support, is John James's Senate bid in 2020. So for those who do not know, John James is a very pro-Trump candidate who's been running in a lot of Michigan elections. And he did very well in 2020. He ran for Senate, and he outperformed Donald Trump and only lost by 1.6%, which is pretty good compared to the fact that Donald Trump lost by almost 3%. So Craig, I think, will at least get 1.5%, and from that margin, I think that he can definitely build up. If the national environment is favorable enough to Republicans, he could definitely win. He's very moderate, but he could still get the Trump rural turnout. He would definitely improve with white voters, and especially the suburban voters that really gave Joe Biden the victory in the state. And he can improve by enough that he could actually win. So I'm putting that as tilt GOP for now. And that's a very controversial call, and I can definitely see myself changing that over time. And I think it'll be very close. But for now, I'm putting it as tilt GOP. And also, Gretchen Whitmer has been losing popularity, and a lot of suburban voters just don't really approve of lockdowns. Whatever your opinion on lockdowns may be, Gretchen Whitmer definitely lost support over her use of them. And I also believe that Wisconsin will be tilt GOP, and that is because it looks like the GOP will nominate someone like Sean Duffy, who is a very good candidate for the GOP, because he has the populist support without having alienated the suburbs like Ron Johnson, for example, has. And Tony Evers has also lost a ton of popularity, so I think he will lose as well. And now going to Georgia, this will be Democratic state because Stacey Abrams is very, very good at turnout, and that alone would let her win. I could see her getting anywhere from John Ossoff's performance in the 2021 run-ups to even a 2% victory like Raphael Warnock. And that's my reasoning for Georgia. And for Arizona, tilt R if Kimberly Yee, who is the incumbent state treasurer, is a nominee. She won by a very large margin, almost that of Doug Ducey, but she still has the pro-Trump support, and she could definitely win. But if it is anyone other than Kimberly, I think that it's likely going to be tilt D. But for now, it's tilt R, potentially even lean R if Yee runs a good enough campaign. So there we have it. It is 27 to 23, which is actually the current number, but there are a few flips. For example, the Democrats flipped Georgia and New Hampshire. Meanwhile, the Republicans flipped Michigan, Wisconsin, and Kansas, and the Democrats actually flipped Maryland. So the 3 flips for each actually pretty much makes it the same margin as it was before, which is 23-27. So yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. But Democrats do have some approval in the Sun Belt. They take back to the northeastern seats, and of course they hold on to seats like Pennsylvania, but they lose with Wisconsin and Michigan and narrowly lose Arizona. yeah, so that is it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, and you can also subscribe for more content like this. My 2022 Senate video will be coming out very soon. You hit the notification bell for more to be notified when you get more content and I post it. And also check out the description, join my Discord and my mock government Discord that we just made. It's pretty fun on there, so I hope you will join. Yeah, so thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time.